The meeting hall felt alive after Alindra spoke, as though the very walls inhaled her words and exhaled a soft shiver of cold air. Lian stood frozen, unsure whether fear or curiosity held her in place. Kael's hand hovered near his blade, ready to strike at the slightest threat. Armin stepped forward protectively, placing himself partially between Lian and the silver-haired woman. But Alindra did not move. She stood calmly beneath the cracked beams of the old hall, the faint blue sigil on her forehead glowing softly, pulsing in rhythm with Lian's own heartbeat. The connection tugged at Lian like invisible threads woven between them. "Why are you here?" Lian finally whispered. Alindra's gaze softened. "Because Asterfall was once a sanctuary for those who carried the spark, and because you are the first to reach its hall since it fell." Armin frowned. "Fell? I heard the village was lost to plague." Alindra shook her head slowly. "No plague took Asterfall. The Order did." The words sliced through the silence like a knife. Lian felt her stomach twist. She looked around at the ruined hall, the shattered benches, the collapsed roof, the cracked bell. Suddenly, it all made sense. "They came for a spark bearer," Lian whispered. Alindra nodded. "A girl, no older than you. She carried the spark before you, though she never learned to control it. The Order's arrival awakened the Guardians, but even their protection was not enough." Lian's voice trembled. "What happened to her?" Alindra's expression dimmed. "The same fate that awaits any bearer who does not learn to wield their power. The Order does not kill the spark, they harvest it." Kael clenched his jaw. "So they destroyed the village to reach one girl." "The Order destroys anything that stands between them and the gate," Alindra answered. Armand crossed his arms. "And where were you when Asterfall fell?" Alindra didn't flinch at the question. "I was already dead." The room went still. Kael took a step back. What are you?" Alindra's eyes glowed faintly. "Not a ghost, not a spirit, a fragment, a memory the spark preserved. My body died long ago, but my echo lives on to guide those who come after." Lian felt the spark inside her rise in response, pulsing against her ribs. "So you're one of the former bearers?" "Yes," Alindra said. "The sixth, the one before the last." Armin frowned. "And how many were there?" Alindra's voice lowered, carrying the weight of centuries. 7. You are the 8th. Lian staggered slightly. The number hit her harder than she expected. 7 before her. 7 who either failed or died. 7 whose stories were erased, hidden, or forgotten. She wondered what fate had claimed them, and whether hers would be any different. "And you claim you can help her?" Kael asked, voice sharp. Alindra nodded once. "More than help. I can teach her to awaken the spark's oldest form, the pulse that predates the Orders, the Guardians, even the gate itself." Kael looked at Lian, worry etched into his face. "That kind of power isn't something you can control quickly. It could consume you. Or save the world," Alindra countered. A gust of wind burst through the open wall, scattering snow into the hall. The lantern flickered, casting wild shadows that danced like restless spirits between the beams. Alindra extended her hand again. "Lian, come. Before the night deepens, there are things you must see, memories you must inherit. The spark inside you is trying to awaken. If you resist it, you will break." Lian hesitated. Fear churned inside her, heavy and cold. She looked at Kael, his face tense, protective. She looked at Armin, his eyes both fearful and hopeful. Finally, she looked at Alindra. Something about the older woman, the way her gaze held centuries of suffering yet still softened at the sight of Lian, felt painfully familiar, as if she had been waiting for her across lifetimes. Lian swallowed hard. If I follow you, what happens next? Alindra's expression warmed for the first time. You learn who you truly are. And if I refuse? Alindra's voice became a quiet whisper. Then the Order will claim you before the snow melts. Lian felt her heart lurch. Outside, far beyond the village, a faint blue glow shimmered between the trees, the unmistakable light of the Dusk Warriors drawing nearer. Kael gripped Lian's arm. We don't have much time. Armin nodded. Choose quickly. Lian took a deep breath, feeling the spark pulse beneath her hand. Then she stepped toward Alindra. Show me. Alindra turned toward the back of the hall. Then come, child. Your past and your future await. And as Lian followed her into the shadows of the ruined sanctuary, the distant hum of approaching warriors vibrated through the frozen air. The back of the meeting hall was colder than the rest of the village, as if the air itself refused to touch that forgotten corner. Alindra led them toward a collapsed archway, her steps silent, her presence almost weightless. Lian followed closely, though her heart pounded with each step. Kael and Armin remained behind her, weapons drawn, their breaths visible in the freezing air. Beyond the archway lay a narrow stone corridor, dark, dust-lined, and ancient. The walls were carved with symbols Lian didn't recognize, spirals, broken circles, shapes resembling stars split in half. Some symbols glowed faintly as Alindra passed, responding to her presence like old memories stirring awake. What is this place? Lian asked quietly. A sanctuary, Alindra replied. Built by the first bearers, hidden from history, hidden from those who would twist our purpose. Armin touched one of the glowing markings. These carvings, they're pre-Empire, older than the first recorded dynasties. Older than the Empire, Alindra said. Older than the throne, older than the gate itself. Kael frowned. Then what were the first bearers protecting? Alindra paused at the end of the corridor, her expression darkening. Not what, who. Before they could question her further, the corridor opened into a vast underground chamber, a cavern carved by hands long forgotten. Torches flickered along the walls despite no one tending them. At the center, rising from the stone like a monument, stood a massive circular platform engraved with the same sigil on Alindra's forehead. But what caught Lian's attention was the faint blue mist hovering above the platform, moving, shifting, whispering. Her breath caught. What is that? Alindra stepped toward it. Memory, Lian frowned. Memory of what? Alindra turned to her. Of every spark-bearer who came before you. Their fears, their power, their failures, their truths. Kael stepped forward, blocking Lian's path. She doesn't need more weight on her shoulders. She needs understanding, Alindra replied calmly. Without knowing the past, she cannot survive the future. Armin studied the platform with wide eyes. This is a repository, a living archive. Yes, Alindra said. The spark does not simply pass from one bearer to the next. It records, it remembers, it searches. Kael's voice grew sharp. Searches for what? Balance, Alindra said softly. Or destruction. It depends on the bearer. Lian felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold. And it chose me? Alindra approached her and placed a hand over Lian's heart. The spark pulsed in response. It did not choose your strength, Alindra said. It chose your honesty, your grief, your capacity to see the world not as it is, but as it could be. Lian stepped back, overwhelmed. I don't want to be any of those things. I'm not ready. No bearer ever was, Alindra said. She gestured toward the platform. Step forward. Let the memories show you what came before. Kael grabbed Lian's arm. You don't have to do this. Lian turned to him, her voice trembling. If I don't learn who I am, how do I fight what's coming? Kael hesitated, conflict tearing across his features. Armin nodded slowly. She's right. With a deep breath, Lian stepped onto the platform. The moment her foot touched the stone, the blue mist rushed upward, surrounding her, encircling her like a spiraling wind. Her vision blurred, her ears filled with distant voices, overlapping cries, whispers, chants in languages she could not name. She reached out instinctively, and the world vanished. Suddenly she was standing in a different place entirely. A battlefield of broken earth and sky, bodies of warriors and guardians intermingled, a woman with glowing hands screaming as she unleashed a torrent of blue fire. A figure cloaked in shadow raising a blade formed from living darkness. A gate, tall, monumental, carved with ancient sigils, cracking open. Lian stumbled backward, gasping as the vision shattered. She found herself back in the chamber, Kael gripping her arms, Alindra watching quietly, Armin pale with worry. Lian's voice broke. I saw them. I saw the ones who came before. I saw the gate. Alindra stepped closer. Then you understand now. The gate does not sleep. It stirs because the world weakens, and the Order seeks to break it open. Only a spark-bearer can stop that. Lian shook her head violently. I can't. I'm not strong enough. I'll fail like they did. Alindra's expression softened. You are not meant to be like them. Then what am I supposed to be? Lian demanded. A choice, Alindra whispered. A choice the world has waited centuries for. Before Lian could respond, a distant rumble shook the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling. Kael's face hardened. The Order is here. Alindra turned toward the corridor, her eyes glowing brighter. They have found Asterfall sooner than expected. Armin drew his dagger. We must leave. No, Alindra said. She must finish what she started. Lian's heart hammered as the trembling grew stronger. Kael pulled her close. Whatever happens, don't let them take you. Then, a cold blue light appeared at the far end of the corridor. The dusk warriors had arrived. The cold blue light flooding the corridor grew brighter, swirling with the unmistakable hum of the dusk warriors' approach. Their shadows stretched along the stone walls, long and distorted, as if the darkness itself bent to their will. Lian felt the spark tremble inside her chest, reacting to their presence, fear, instinct, power, all tangled together. Kael grabbed his blade, limping toward the entrance of the chamber. They're almost here. We need to move. Armin positioned himself beside him, dagger drawn. We buy Lian as much time as we can. Alindra stepped forward, raising a hand. No, you will not survive even one of them in this confined space. Kael glared at her. And what do you suggest? Surrender? Alindra's voice was calm, but her eyes glowed with fierce conviction. I am already dead, Kael. I am not bound by the same limits. She turned to Lian. You must awaken the second pulse. Lian shook her head violently. I barely controlled the first. If I try something stronger, I could kill everyone here. You could, Alindra admitted. Or you could save them. The walls trembled again. The hum grew louder, deeper. Snow drifted from cracks in the ceiling as the warrior's energy seeped into the stone. Kael placed a hand on Lian's shoulder. If there's ever a moment to trust yourself, it's now. Lian's voice broke. I'm scared. So are we, Armin said quietly. But fear is not your enemy. Let it sharpen you. Alindra touched Lian's forehead, right where her own sigil glowed faintly. A warmth spread beneath Lian's skin, sinking deeper than the spark. Ancient, steady, grounding. Do not fight the spark, Alindra whispered. Guide it. It is not a river. It is a mirror. It reflects what you give it. Lian closed her eyes. Behind her eyelids, she saw flashes of the memories she had just witnessed. The woman unleashing blue fire across a battlefield. The guardians protecting a fallen village. The fractured gate opening just enough for darkness to seep through. Her breath shook. In the corridor, armored footsteps echoed. They were inside. "Lian," Kael urged. "Now!" She inhaled. The spark surged. The chamber shook violently as Lian's hands ignited with blue-white light. It wasn't the uncontrolled blast from before. This time the light spiraled around her arms, weaving patterns across her skin. The ground beneath her glowed with matching sigils, awakened by Alindra's presence. Alindra stepped back, watching with a calm, knowing expression. The first dusk warrior entered the chamber. It raised its blade, energy crackling. Lian opened her eyes. A shockwave burst from her hands, silent at first, then erupting into a thunderous pulse that slammed into the warrior, halting it mid-step. Blue symbols raced across its armor as the pulse tore through the dark energy holding it together. Another warrior stepped in, then a third. All were caught in the growing wave of light. Kael shielded his eyes. "By the gods!" Arman stumbled backward. She's overpowering them." Alindra shook her head. "No, she's becoming what she was meant to be." Lian's heartbeat echoed through the chamber like a drum. The pulse grew stronger, expanding in a ring that shattered the stones beneath her feet and cracked the ceiling overhead. The warrior's armor buckled under the force, their glowing veins flickering wildly. One by one, the dusk warriors fell to their knees, blades slipping from their hands. Then, silence. The pulse ceased. The light died. Lian collapsed forward, barely catching herself on trembling arms. She gasped for breath, her vision spinning. Kael rushed to her. "Lian, stay with us." Armin knelt beside her, checking her pulse. Relief washed over his face. She's alive, exhausted, but alive. Alindra approached slowly, her eyes full of quiet triumph. "You awakened the second pulse," she whispered. "You faced what the others feared." Lian struggled to lift her head. "I couldn't hold it. It's too strong. I felt like it would tear me apart." "It will," Alindra said gently, "if you walk forward alone." Kael looked at Alindra sharply. "What does that mean?" Alindra turned toward a cracked stone door at the far end of the chamber, one Lian hadn't noticed before. Strange runes glowed faintly across its surface. "It is time," she said, "for Lian to pass beyond the refuge, to meet the one who holds the final truth of the spark." Armin frowned. "Who?" The stone door shook. A deep, resonant hum came from behind it, older, darker, familiar. Alindra's expression hardened. "The first bearer." The door began to open. Lian felt the spark flare inside her again, responding to the presence beyond the threshold, powerful, ancient, and unmistakably alive. Her voice trembled. What is waiting for me?" Alindra spoke softly, almost reverently. "Your beginning, and your decision." The door opened fully. Darkness, alive and breathing, waited beyond.